Hi, I'm Cloudy and welcome to Cloudy's Cards. Today I'm going to be going over my deck profile for the new card selection Bleach, which you'll see I have laid out here. We're going to go top left, work our way down to the bottom. I've sorted them by energy requirement, talk a little bit about why they're in the deck and what I might or might not change, and kind of leave it at that, I guess. So in Bleach Volume 2, we got introduced to Blue, and the primary version I like to play was the Ichigo with the Renji and the Rukia, but leaning primarily towards Ichigo as his multi-attack and ditching cards and gaining abilities by ditching cards. Since then, it has significantly changed to more of a, I'd say almost a pure hybrid, almost a 50-50 hybrid, or maybe 51% Ichigo. So I still really like Ichigo being able to draw cards, ditch cards, get the double attack off of his special trigger. It's one of my favorite combos to do in this deck. But with this one, we have a lot more Rukias, the new one-cost searcher. So it's actually, before we start talking, let's just go through the deck and I'll go from there. Starting in the top left, we have 4 of our Ichigo. He's a 0 cost with a draw 1, ditch 1 trigger. He's got a trigger, he's a target, he's a 0. Perfect. Next one, I got 4 of the Renjis because he's a 2K. So early aggression, I can put out a blocker and maybe protect a life or 2. There's no raid for Renji, so not super important either way. You could run the Zangetsu card, but I've just never been a huge fan of that interaction. I know you can pretty much get a free block, but it seems like too much effort for me, so I am going to go with the Renji to get a little more aggression. Up next, we have our 0 cost Rukia, which is a 1500 get trigger. She is a raid, as you'll see down here at the bottom later on. Then we have 4 of the new 1 cost Rukias. This is a when played, look at the top 3, add a Ichigo, Byakuya, Renji, or Rukia. Add a card, ditch a card. So it's good search, it's good filtering, it's good consistency to find what pieces you're looking for, whether that be the raid or a double energy or something else. So, excuse me. Just having the choice to search your top 3 and find a card and get rid of one in your hand that may not be as important is always good, and it looks great as a 4 of. In this shiny corner here, we do have 4 of the 2 cost Renjis that, when played, you can ditch a card to restand an AP, and then if you have another 2 AP on field, you can switch him active. I like him a lot for the most part. If I see him, I play him. If I see too many of him, I use him as ditch fodder. It's really a win-win for me because 2 APs are expensive, but this deck draws a lot, so the having to ditch a card to restand an AP sometimes is not a bad thing. Like, I can really overextend my turns if I play him and then restand a card and then have a Bankai. It seems like you can get a lot of value, especially if you have your 2 AP on the field to set it up. But also being a 3 cost, even if you don't do all that, he's still a 3 cost 4K. He's not the best card on the deck, and he's not going to do a whole lot, but he does have Nullify Impact, and I like him at 4. Moving on to, I missed around. So down to a 2 cost, we have 3 of the Ichigos. He's not a trigger, but he is a 3K, and his ability is you can ditch a card from hand, and he cannot be blocked by 4K or more. And the idea was to ditch the 0 cost on Getsu, which allows you to not be blocked by 3K or less also. So it just gives you, like, you can only be blocked by 3500, which is a pretty narrow window for most decks, but also it just seems like too much setup and not as much of a payoff. I'm sure there's an ability, or there's a time or two where you can do that and win the game and they just can't block it, and that feels pretty cool, but I play differently. Moving on, we have 2 his name is on Getsu. I like this card because it's, again, a card you want to ditch almost always and you get an extra draw out of it. You can trigger it off of the 0 cost Ichigo, you can trigger it off of the 4-2 down here and the raid. It's this nice extender to get your hand size back up there. And honestly, if you are struggling, if you're breaking or something, it is just to draw 2 cards off rip. So you could just play it for cost and draw 2. But you can also ditch it as one of your mechanics and get an extra draw. We'll talk about that when I get to the raid. Moving on, a Rukia. This is the 3 cost double energy. Again, no trigger. So this deck is running 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 no trigger. So 43 actives. 43 triggers. A little bit low for my taste, but blue, I feel like, doesn't really other than active triggers, which you like. I don't know. Blue always feels like a pretty low one to me. Anyways, back to Rukia. She's when played, draw a card and then place one from hand to sideline. If you have a 2 AP on your field, you just draw a card instead. You don't have to ditch anything. So you get a draw a card, ditch a card, or draw a card. So that's helpful. And she's double energy and she's raid target. So all in all, I like her. The reason I went with 2 and 2 of the Orihime here is I'm not a big fan of the color trigger, and having to bounce my cards back to hand can be helpful, but a lot of times I feel, and it could just be my play style, I'm playing too fast or too aggressive, and it slows me down a lot, and then I'm trying to build my board up because I'm reducing my field by the bounce back. There's been a few times where I've been able to bounce something back to hand and then play something from sideline to hand, and they were both ditch fodder for Ichigo's. So like there's combos for sure, but I feel like if you're gonna play 4 of her for her ability, you should run pure Ichigo. Don't even try to do Rukias or Renjis. This is, I will admit, a little disclaimer. This is a little bit of an early list for me. I just got the new selection cards here like within days, so I threw them in there, and I just wanted to make a quick deck profile to give everyone an idea of what you can do with it, and some of my commentary on the deck based off of my experience with it. Moving on, we have, I don't even know if I said Orihime. She's when played, you may return a 2 cost or less to hand. If you do, you can return a 2 cost card from sideline to hand. Like I said, you think about the combos you can pull off. You can return a search Rukia and then return a name on Zangetsu, and then you could replay it. You can do the same thing for the Ichigo. Not the greatest plays in the world, obviously, but there's ways to get you back and forth in combos. It's just very strategic. 4 Bankai, pretty standard. Down here for the new card selection, another Ichigo. So this one is a 3k plus double energy. He costs 3. He's a double block, so early good or early board protection. And during my turn, if I have placed a card from my hand into my sideline this turn, he gains 1,000. And if you've been paying attention, we're ditching cards with almost every single card we have in here. Ditching cards like crazy. So he's going to almost always be a 4k during your turn. Not indefinitely, but almost always if you're playing the deck right, if you have anything. And it looks gorgeous as a 4 of, so we're playing it. Moving on, we have our raid. So this is the Rukia that it chooses the character on the front line, it rests it. If I have a 2 AP on my front line, then it stays rested until this character leaves the front line. So that can be interpreted, one of multiple ways. Leaving the field due to blocking, due to battle. It could be leaving the field due to special. It doesn't say leave the field. It specifically says leaves the front line. So if you have a Kenshin and push her back, that unstuns her. It's a weird little freeze that seems like it takes a lot of setup for it. If you play her in the Rukia, Byakuya, Renji deck, I think it hits a lot more, and it's a little more annoying, kind of like Toshiro, but I like Ichigo, and I like double attacks, and I like comboing, so we're doing that here. I use her more as a tech resource, just to freeze your board and then get a couple extra swings in. Moving to the specials, we are running a hybrid split. We have the Haka no Togami, which is Rukia's. It's a kill a 3k, or if you have Rukia, kill a 5k, so kill a 5k. And then the Getsuga Jushiro, which is really interesting. It confuses a lot of people I play against, but so it's 2 abilities. It's either choose one character 3,500 or less and sideline it. I almost never do that unless it's for game. That's a terrible special ability. But his second ability says, when this card is placed from your hand into your sideline by an ability of a blue Ichigo on my field, I may place 1 card from my hand to the bottom of the deck. If I do, that Ichigo gains double attack. So typically, we'll trigger this off of the raid Ichigo, which we'll get into in a second. I'll come back to it, or the 4-2. I've done it on both. It works decently. The raid is obviously like the best way to do it, but double attack and on any Ichigo. So I could make my 0 cost. No, I can't. I lied. I mean, I can. I technically can, but I can't attack the same turn because it has to be ditched by the ability. So only these 2 Ichigos can, or sorry, these 3 right here. The 2 costs and the 2 4s can ditch a card by their own ability. Let's get into the big boss of the deck and the whole sign behind it. It's the 4-cost Ichigo. He is a 4k plus. When played, choose 2 characters with 2,000 or more battle points on my opponent's front line. They lose 1,500 until the end of turn. So off rip, I get to reduce your board by 1,500 to 2, which could mean your biggest guys, and now they will die if you block. And then as activate main, once a turn, I can place a Zangetsu or Getsuga card from my hand to the sideline, wink, 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 wink. If I do, draw a card, give this character 1,000 battle points, and when attacking, draw up to 1 card. So the theory, or the thing is, you play the Ichigo, reduce the board, do all whatever else you want to, enter, or do main, activate main, and you're going to get rid of Getsuga. Off of that, he gets a draw card, plus 1,000, and when attacking, draw a card. Then, because of this being ditched by the Blue Ichigo, you place one of those cards from your hand to the bottom of the deck. Now he has double attack. So he's going to be a 5k when attacking, draw, restand. 5k when attacking, draw. So you just got 3 cards off this one Ichigo ability combo if you do it with the special. Now, if you run it without the special, let's say you activate main, you get rid of this on Getsu. You're going to draw a card, gain 1,000, when attacking, draw a card. Because this was ditched, you draw a card. Now, you don't get double attack, but you get 4 draws. So it's either 4 or 4. So it works both ways. And last but not least, I run 2 of the 4-2 Ichigos. It's a win play, choose a character with 4k or less on my opponent's front line and return it to their hand. So it's a Yuji. It doesn't play active, but it's a Yuji from JJK. Big thing with this 4-2, it doesn't play active. Reminder, guys, it doesn't play active. But it doesn't have an activate main if on the front line I can draw a card, ditch a card. And that's, you know, once a turn. So you can play the card, bounce something, activate main, draw one, ditch one if you play it on the front line. And again, if you ditch Zangetsu, draw another card. If you ditch anything else, then proceed. But you can also use his activate main to get rid of the Getsuga to do a double attack. So a couple of things. I know the deck pretty well. It's one of my favorite blue Bleach decks. The other 2 I really haven't played. It's actually the only one I have touched. But I have a lot of experience in the other decks, purple and green. A little bit of yellow. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please let me know your thoughts down below. And I'd be happy to talk about you in your arena for a long time. If you want to know where any of these cards come from specifically, I could tell you, but I don't want to waste everyone's time here. So just let me know in the comments if you're curious, and I'll be happy to answer. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the clouds. Cloudy, cloudy, cloudy.